Hey everybody, Ted Check, recovering reporter Sage Steele recently came out with an expose of sorts where she said that when she was working for ESPN and conducted an interview with President Joe Biden, all of the questions that she was to ask the president were scripted out ahead of time, and she was given the order not to deviate from those questions whatsoever. So for those of you who are kind of on the fence about, oh, is that really right, or that doesn't make sense? It's not journalism, okay? That is not journalism. In pure journalism, the true craft of journalism, a journalist might think about what they're going to ask an interviewee, might even give the interviewee an indication of what they might ask, but also reserves the right to change those questions at any time. And then the interviewee can say, you know what, I'm not going to answer that question, which is fine. That's the way it goes. But questions are not scripted out by the editor or anybody, an owner or anybody like that. They're not scripted out ahead of time and then this order given that you're not to deviate from that. That's Hollywood. Okay, that's a TV show or a movie. That's not journalism. But apparently that's what happened, according to Sage Steele. And so then this guy, Keith Olbermann, comes forward. This dude right here, you might recognize me, was on ESPN a couple of times, and I guess they at one point said, we're going in a different direction. So he was no longer working for the company. He's still kind of hanging around somewhere. But he said, of course it was scripted. If it hadn't been, Sage Steele, the dumbest person I've ever worked with in sports or news, couldn't have gotten through it. So ridiculous right there. He's actually defending the employer who got rid of him, but also defending the whole scripted thing. That's terrible. That's not journalism. He's not a journalist, therefore. Going back to that other photo, here's Sage Steele with Riley Gaines, and most of you probably know who Riley Gaines is, but I love this post on X. Sage has the balls that Keith Olbermann lacks. This picture will be the bane of his existence. Props to Sage Steele and Riley Gaines. They're both incredibly courageous in their respective fields. And so I'm glad that Sage Steele has kind of pulled the curtain back a bit on this. Hopefully this exposure will have an effect, and we won't see that. We may never know because it's all a behind-the-scenes thing. But really, this kind of thing cannot go on, and then these companies claim to be members of the media, because that's not the way that the media should conduct itself if they want to practice true journalism.